How we doing? Fox back again for sound design tutorials with another Access Virus TI tutorial. Today it's going to be a tutorial on how to make this effect that I've made. I wanted to make an effect that is almost two separate parts. One sort of a build-up part and then it turns into like a soundscape. That's exactly what I managed to achieve. All of the movement in this sound comes from the ring modulator in the filter bank. It sounds like there's LFOs and pitch modulation and everything like that, but there's not. There's nothing in the matrix section. No modulation of pitch of any kind with any LFO or anything. It's all done with a ring modulator. So yeah, I'll show you this sound quick and then I'll show you how I made it. There you have it. Bit of a random way how I came about this. I wasn't planning on making a sound exactly like this. 9 times out of 10 when you're making soundscapes or effects of this nature, you just sort of stumble upon it. I know the ring modulator was capable of giving it that sort of stuttery effect, but not to this degree. I mean, it does help with the speaker cabinet distortion and the phaser I've got as well. But for now, we'll go ahead and initialize part 1, which is what we're going to be using today. So, oscillator section. Two very, very different waveforms from each other, both with a lot of grip and a lot of high-end qualities. The first one was a grain complex, and it is back cave. Pretty much chose this just because I like the sound of it. No other right nor reason than that. This is just oscillator 1. I pulled it down 1 octave, minus 12. Pulled the wavetable back to about 16. Had a little bit of phase in and say like a bit of a nasal quality. Pulled the frequency shift down, performance shift, sorry. About minus 23, 24. And spread the formants a little bit more. 44. No detune, no interpolation. I didn't sync the oscillators together, I wanted it to remain quite different. Oscillator 2 will bring in now. And for that, it was a classic waveform. Pull it all the way to the left till it shows a sine wave. Click on this box and then you get all the classic waveforms that you can choose from. And the one I used was 46. Quite a noisy, belly sort of tone when it's higher up. I'll pull this down 2 octaves. Makes it a lot more throaty and deeper. Pulled the detune down from its original position to about 10. The FM mode I kept on positive triangle, same as always, pushing down to about 33.6. No envelope to FM, no velocity to FM, kept the phase net where it was, everything else in the comma section as it was. It's 2 oscillators. Third oscillator uses a sine wave just to act as a bassy part to it. Kept everything how it was as standard. I used a bit of noise to thicken the sound up. About a quarter of the way. Kept the noise colour dead centre. Unison to twin. Detune to about 36. Pan spread about 34%. LFO phase offset to about minus 20. Quite a dark and sinister sounding patch already, but for the oscillator section that is it. Nothing too crazy. Oh, sorry, the volume for Oscillator 3 I pushed up quite high just so that the sub element was a bit more prominent. So yeah, we'll go on to the filters now. Filters section. Filter 1 I kept on a low pass. I didn't use any envelope or any resonance on either filter. This one I pulled down to about 103, and this one I pushed all the way out, plus 63. A bit of saturation, I chose the middle one. I lent it ever so slightly towards the saturation, just above the S. Keep the routing out was as standard. So I don't use any filter envelope or any other envelopes, so you can leave them all they are as standard. Anything I did do is give it quite a long attack, so that the on the amp envelope, so that the amp comes in slowly over time. Decay where it is, sustain where it is. Tiny bit of slope to the right. Release at about 34. That little bit of middle saturation just helps distort the sound up a little bit before we get into any effects. So FX1 now. So I used a speaker cabinet. This helps rasp any sound up if you want to give it a little bit more grit, and you can aim where you want the grittiness to be. I kept it at where it was actually, the character tune on 32. I pushed the mix right around though. The mix on about 70%. Distortion I chose after the filter section was a pepper overdrive. This is quite a severe distortion as well, so be careful with this. The mix side at about 35%, and the drive round to about the same, 35-36%. Tone dead center. Didn't touch the high cut. You can't really hear that distortion yet, but when we had the ring modulator, it all helps beef the sound up. I used chorus and a phaser. The chorus I used was a classic. Push the mix around about 48. Delay at 15. Feedback just a little less, about 82%. I used a 2-pole phaser. Mix at about 58. Frequency where it is as standard. Feedback, spread, everything as it comes. Phaser on a dark pad like this is a must. It just helps widen anything out, any sort of pad like this out, and it gives it a lovely bit of movement, sort of swanning through the sound. As I say, this is what really makes the sound now. The filter bank that I chose is ring modulator. This gives you a lot more control than the ring modulator you got in the oscillator section. It's the ring modulator, all you got is a mix. In this section you've got a frequency, which is where you want it to aim it at, and a stereo phase. Now for this I kept the stereo phase where it was. I might try playing with that in a bit, but the frequency you want to aim at dead zero. You're hearing I can't hear anything, I can't hear that stuttering. That's because I mapped this to a knob, and the knob I chose was one of the soft knobs. Every single virus has this, even if you have the snow. And to do this, you click on this here. This is soft knob 1, destination, and you want to set it to filter bank frequency, which is the frequency of the ring modulation, which is this. The reason I chose the soft knob, I tried assigning it to the mod wheel, but for this to work you need to aim to get this dead center to give it like the static part of it. And the reason why the soft knob helps with that is that when you use a soft knob you've got the numbers coming up on your dial and you can make sure you get it dead on 0. I tried doing it with the mod wheel. I say it was really quite difficult for me to end up getting it dead 0. But yeah, Why I've closed that, I do not know. But now we've assigned the soft knob to this, we can get control over this frequency. As you can see, soft knob now is moving that frequency knob. So yeah, dead center on your LCD display on your virus is 0. When I play it now, you're not going to hear any modulation. All you can hear is just a phaser. As soon as you turn it left or right, you're going to start to hear that stuttering effect. Lovely. I used quite a lot of EQing just to enhance the sound even more. I've boosted the gains of the lows quite a bit, about 6 dB, the mids a tad, and the highs a tad, about plus 2 dB on either of them. Effects 2 I used, as you probably could tell when you heard it, there's a bit of reverb and delay on it. The reverb, I kept it on a classic. I tried a lot of different clock speeds and it sounded better with an on-beat one. I set it to 1/8 so it was quite fast. So I had it set to minus 15.3 dB. You can play with the volume of this delay as you see fit. I didn't want it to be overpowering. And the feedback I pushed around to about 10%. So with a delay. The reverb I used was a small room. Ambience even, sorry. Didn't want it to be too... I didn't want it to take over what the delay was doing. Decay down to about 29, damping where it is a standard, no pre-delay. And I had it on minus 13.25. Again, play with to taste. Bit of reverb. And there you have it. That is the sound done. And so it's quite a versatile patch. That's played quite low. I'll play it a bit higher up, 2 octaves up. That's going to be really good to be used as a transition effect, that is. You could almost have that sweep coming in, slow it right down, and then you can use it as this pad afterwards. Yeah, that's it. That's the patch done. So I didn't really know what it was when I was making it. I might call it... It sounds a lot... I thought that this sounds a lot like a transformer, something off the Transformers. I might call it Transformers style effect. But yeah, as always, make sure you subscribe if you like any of these tutorials. If you got any requests, please leave it at the bottom. I'm having quite a few lately. I'm gradually working my way through them. I've had a couple for silent and a couple with a virus that I've been doing. But yeah, make sure you tweet me as well if you want any tutorials doing yourself. It's probably the best way to get hold of me. It's at Sound Design Tuts. Okay, thanks again for watching. Cheers.